yeah, their work's good, but he's a dickhead, I'd never work with him. It's patience essentially, but also just, I feel like the right time will come when you're ready. There's a real big stigma around doing free work, and I think, to be honest, it has a time and a place. Like, first thought I want people to have of me is like a good one. The industry is still very full of old gatekeepers who don't like us coming through the industry, and they don't have a clue what they're doing. And I'll be honest, they are scared. Don't be a dickhead. Like, you know when you're being a dickhead, innit? Like, one thing I've noticed, I've been a videographer. That's how I sort of started out, as a videographer. I've been doing that for like 10 plus years. And when I started, it was very different to now, in that it's probably a lot easier now for you to climb up that ladder a lot quicker. So when I get like new videographers or like photographers chat to me, they're just like, oh, we're just like, I want to go on tour and I want to do this and I want to film Creamfields. And I'm like, okay, how long have you been filming for? 8 months. Right. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you have to, it's patience essentially, but also just, I feel like the right time will come when you're ready. So they say luck is, preparation meets timing. If I had been given, so I had a big breakout moment in 2017. I got asked by a really big artist to go film them at Creamfields and SW4. If I'd got asked that 2 years prior, I probably, one, wouldn't have delivered the video I done, and I just wouldn't have been ready for that moment. So I know sometimes it can feel like you just, logging away, just keep putting hours in, stuff isn't happening, but you never know who's watching. A great example of this is when I was doing some gigs for dirt cheap for an artist when I used to live in Southend, and it was basically 50 quid to go on tour with them. I would be their driver, so they pay me for fuel. I'd make like a little video and some clips after movies, whatever. Well, through that, I got to know obviously just lighting jocks and venue managers and all that. 4 years later, I get a phone call from the official charts company. Hi, we're doing a 4-date tour with Western. We want you to come on it and film it all. I'm like, yeah, cool, brilliant. And I'm sat there thinking, how on earth have I got this job? Turned out her husband was one of the light jocks that I met when I was doing the £50 gigs. Like, you never know who's watching it, especially in like the music industry. Like, there's people watching a lot of time, or if they're seeing you pop up. That's why, like, even being in the right social circles, like coming to this, like.
I think now there's a really great and a really damaging culture of, I'm coming to work and I'm getting paid what I'm getting paid for, and when I clock off, but I still believe in going a bit over and beyond to make you like more of a shining star, as cheesy as that sounds. And
I think, as you just highlighted, because there's lots of people now that aren't doing that, and there's a lot of people that are just clocking in, clocking out. If you do it, it's going to stand out a lot more.
Yeah.
Like tiny little things, like if it's, just being maybe that little 5 or 10 minutes extra early, or if it's, say, you're using a recording studio for the day, rather than, if normally they're like, look, you can just leave all the instruments out or whatever. Just quickly wrap up the XLR cables, just put them to the side, just move the mic stands to the side. Then a little bit, like when we do the events at venues, like obviously they've all got cleaners and stuff that come in the next day. But I'm like, I don't want to leave it in a shithole, because the first thing they're going to be like, did you see the state that the M lad left the fucking venue in, and then I'm not going to get the same venues again.
And if you're a pleasure to work with, people will always want to work with you. So, yeah.
I mean, one, to add in before the next question, was like one thing I always said to myself was when I was going through the industry is the first thought I want people to have of me is like a good one. So when they hear, oh yeah, I'll Reese, that video guy, oh, it's either, yeah, he's a really nice lad, or yeah, his work's good. Because I know there's some videographers and stuff in the scene where someone says, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, their work's good, but he's a dickhead, I'd never work with him. Yeah. And there has been lots of people that I have not sent jobs to, and they were perfectly suited, because like, if I'm sending someone off to say go do a job, that technically representing me, because I've had it before where I've sent videographers, they've done a shit job. I've even had some of them try to convince the clients to stop using me and use them when I've sent them. So it's like, they're representing you. One thing I wanted to add on was, how have you found sort of navigating the event landscape post-COVID? Because a lot has changed, and I think everybody will agree, every single sector you work in, whether it's music industry, fucking hell, TikTok, Jesus Christ, like, as anyone who's dealt with labels are still like a year behind, like, we need a TikTok dance. It's like, no, you don't. But it's about just being honest, like, being transparent with the process. Like there's a couple of producers I work with, and they're like, oh, but I don't want to get on video. I don't want to do this. I'm like, you don't need to do that. Go outside or find a subject. Come on, guys. Come on. It's all right. It's all good. Go and like find. There's some friends of mine. They live almost. My cousin, him and his band down in Dorset. They're like down by the sea and all that. So they just take video clips of that. They add text on it, so that's like long enough that you have to replay the TikTok to read it, and they put their song behind it. So people are reading it, and at the same time they're pushing their song, they're pushing their music. And if you get the right hashtags, or you're, fitting into that part of the algorithm on TikTok, you can do well. Like, you don't have to be this whole, hi guys, go pre-save my track, da-da-da-da-da. Because you can tell when it's forced, and it's like a muscle. You can work and build into it, but there are lots of ways around it. Like, I think you just have to sort of get creative, look at what other people are doing and sort of adjust it. One thing we've always said, just everybody's come up, is just like, don't be a dickhead. Like, when you're being a dickhead in it, like, just don't do it. Like, sometimes you need to be in corporate world with people, but I feel like even if you need to get a point across to someone, like, be firm, professional and firm. Like, I've had some situations with, like, say, with clients or record labels or whatever it is, and it's like, you getting angry isn't going to get your point across.
Facts.
Like, be firm, professional but firm, and like, stand your ground, but in the right way. And then you'll also be respected a lot more for that as well.
True.
Like, especially in this day and age, like, a lot of us are. Someone worded it to me the other day that you're multi-passionate. So I feel like sometimes people try to put you in a box. Yeah, so I've been a photographer for like 10 plus years, and honestly, I've hated my job for the last 2 years. Completely hated it. And my close friends will know that, and I've been like, I don't know what avenues I'm on. I've got all these side projects I want to work on, and there was like other people that I was working with, and all my energy went into helping them. And I thought, right now I need to focus on myself. So,
True.
I wanted to do the content. I wanted to put it out. I've started producing and putting that stuff out. And it's like, I now have got that drive back. And some people are like, oh, you're going to create an alias for your music stuff. I'm like, no,
True.
fuck that. Like, there's a real big stigma around doing free work. And I think, to be honest, it has a time and a place. Like, so when I was doing the videos and I wanted to start charging for weddings, how am I then going to go charge someone $1,000 for a wedding if I haven't got a wedding video to show them? So I did 2 videos for free. Now I've got an example. Oh, this is what I can do. But you can take that and apply that to anything. Like, if you're, I'd say like a DJ, for example, you can find out nowadays who the promoter is of all this stuff. They're always tagged or somewhere, or they're always commenting, or their team. You can find out who's in what positions. Even like, say if you're a videographer trying to get in with an artist, find out who their team will say, look, this is what I do. I'd love to come show you what I can do as a freebie, like as a little demo. And then if something works from that, then we can, talk about money and go from there. Because once you can show them and demonstrate, obviously everybody can sell in person, but the minute you can show them something tactile, it happened with me when I started working with MK, just a house producer, if some of you know. His team were the people who said, okay, you're going to do SW4 and Creamfields. And I did them way under budget, but I was like, no, I know this is the thing I've been waiting for my whole career. And literally got to Creamfields, and that video to this day is still the best video I've ever done. And that was like 6 years ago. Creamfields reshared it 20 times, fucking Mixmag got like 5 times. And it was just all the stars aligning. And if I hadn't have done that for less budget, I wouldn't have been on tour for 3 years. I wouldn't be where I wouldn't be doing this now. I wouldn't be doing that. So I think, just really never be scared of doing free work, but also know your worth in it. Like, don't like just do loads and loads and loads. Do one, let them see it, taste it, and I mean.
Also, when you say know your worth, can you touch on that? Because sometimes I don't know how much I'm worth.
Do you know what I think? Honestly, as well, I don't know how much I'm worth, and it's a constant battle. Like, even with people that have been doing their job, like me for 10 years, like it's very hard. I'm sending that price off to people, and I'm just like, shit. And then you always get it. The ones you're worrying on, they're just like, yes, straight away. You're like, shit, should have charged more. Like, one thing I've always really dealing with, even a lot more in the corporate world, is aim higher, but just word that email. Just say, if this, always ask the budget straight up. Everyone's got a price in mind. They may be adamant to tell you, but even if they come back and say, well, we just like to know, just say, okay, that's cool, but I really want to work with you, so I want to make sure this works for both sides. So if you can just give me a range, is it 400 to 500? Is it 600 to 800? And then you can sort of position, you can apply that to any industry you're in for any of you, whether that's, you're songwriting and you're selling your rights to a track, whether you're a producer selling it, whether you're a manager negotiating a deal. Aim high, work down. As they say, like, know your value or know your worth, and then add tax, because tax man will get you.